the one and only, because that goes against Guru Tattva. No? Even though it may sound so lovingly, no? Oh, they really love him. But then there's another saying which says, well, what is that saying going? My mother is the best mother. Which means my mother is the best mother because that's the only one I have in this lifetime. So there's no competition with other mothers. On the other, another person, he can say the same thing. Yeah, my mother is also the best one. So that spirit is missing in our Gaudiya sometimes. No? I've seen in meetings of the Gaudiya that several speakers say they are disciples, all of disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and each and everyone introduces his talk from my obeisance to my most beloved spiritual master, who was the dearest of all the disciples to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So, who was the dearest? Then the next speaker comes and he says the same thing about his
he
guru.
doesn't say that who was the disciple.
The dearest, yes, very often I've heard that. That people say that my guru was the dearest of the disciples of his guru. This is common. So the others say the same thing. And the third one says the same thing. So here you got a problem of Western Olympic thinking. In Western Olympic thinking, you know, first, second, third, no? You cannot have a few the most beloved. There can only be one, the most beloved. But in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, no. We can have several, the most beloved, because the term most beloved is applicable to that intensity of love where Guru Tattva is perceived. So if Guru Tattva is perceived, then it's like God has sent this person to me to look after me. That is the greatest mercy has come to me through that person. So anyhow, this is one of the many terminologies we can utilize. They can help us to understand the phenomena. Today, a dear friend of mine said something. I will not mention his name, but I said that the most people are just thinking 99% about their own programs and 1% of another, of the world. My mission first, the world second. But Prabhupada taught us, world first, my mission second. But my friend said, no, it is 99.999 that they may think of somebody else, of some other missions and concern. I pray to Krishna that he may be wrong, but whether right or wrong, whether 99, 99.9, 98, 97, 75, 50, whoever, whatever the percentage is there, the world first conception is a very need of the world. Why? Because my guru and my mission, they are valid in that small region. But in history, they will be forgotten. And if I have my love to my guru, which may be the pure bhakti love, and my guru may be the pure bhakti bhakta, but this relationship and the sphere of influence, which is created by that, is very small compared to the world, isn't it? So then if we say world first and my mission second, that is about a reality we are dealing with. That Mahaprabhu's Prithivite Achiyate Nagaradigram Sarvata Prachara Hoibimaranam, that instruction of Mahaprabhu is 100% alive in the terminology of needs of a bigger picture, the world picture. And therefore, for example, this is also an interesting point, that missions are very beautiful and necessary. We are not against missions. But now let's ask me the question. What was the mission called of Baladeva Vidyabhusana? Did he and his disciple have a name for their mission? What about Nityananda Prabhu and his disciples? What was their name of their mission? Well, some people will say Nityananda Parivar. They will say, okay, it's the Parivar. So then we have Parivar. So that Parivar concept is very good concept because it means family. So there's Nityananda family, Gadadhar Pandit, there's Brakeshwar family, Gopal Guru family, there is Narottam Das family, and no, they are all branches and families because a beautiful aspect of the terminology branches that they're from one trunk branching out. And this is actually the genealogical tree. That's the reality, how it works. So, but the institutions utilized in those branches for legally registering, we don't know that. I myself in South America, I've registered over 30 institutions. And one of them is ISKCON Colombia. And it is a valid institution today. As a matter of fact, it is running, it has many properties, and it's the ISKCON Colombia. Also, we registered ISKCON Brazil. That's also existing. But besides that, I registered 30 more organizations. And to try to be faithful to my ideals, I'm not a member of any of those organizations which I started myself because I knew that the institutions are not very important. Like in this case, in the Vinda Parivar today, I'm already telling the acharyas in the Vinda Parivar, you have to register new names and get your own registration because you will have to be responsible before the government and before your disciples of what's happening within your institution. I have had experiences in my life that properties have come to us. Somebody gave a farm or something, and then they said, yes, we have a farm. And we accepted it, and we started developing it. We sent our devotees there, and we constructed something. And after some years, they said, sorry, the property is no more yours, no more the devotees. They said, but you said it. Yes, I said it, but my wife has a different opinion. So if you do not legally registrate things, then it becomes a problem in the future. So therefore, I told the disciples, like even you in Switzerland, you have to register your own society there for the people who come to you in the future to take shelter, even if it's only one person. Even of only one person comes to you today, Gurudev, or Shiksha Guru, or whatever they call you, I want to give you $50,000 donation, which is nothing special. The person I was talking to today is Nrihari's wife, is, I forgot the name just right now, she donated $300,000 to Prabhupada 50 years ago. So when people love the Guru and they have money, they give money. So what the Guru is going to do with the money? Well, he has to put it into a society account. And it has to be accounted for. How this money is going to be spent. If you don't have a society, how are you going to receive a donation? Everything under the table or something like that. But no, that's not proper, it's not right. So therefore, it's very important to understand that these institutions, they're not important. Even ISKCON is not important. And Prabhupada said it himself. When he got the ISKCON papers, he turned to Achyutananda Swami, who was standing next to him. He said, I made this society for people to chant Hare Krishna and to be happy. If for some reason you're not happy in that society, just keep chanting Hare Krishna anyway. That was Prabhupada's own words regarding to ISKCON. So for me, it is you may call it a sociological observation that the institutions are necessary but not important. Only important is that everything is done according to the law, to the divine law and also to the mundane law. Because the mundane law, they have some faculty which is called non-profit organization. That means we are working all together, but not for the profit of you or you or you or me. No, we are non-profit. We are working for the progress of our joint undertaken. That is true, but not for my private profit or your profit. That is legal. And if you do anything against it, then you are actually entering an illegal criminal activity, like using. And many people think that the gurus are criminal. In the Western society, they are suspecting gurus. They have nice devotees, no? You give me your money, I'll take you to the spiritual world, no? And so, and then they give you the money, and then what's the proof that he's going to the spiritual world? So the atheists, they think that religion is cheating. You got that? So we have to counteract the atheistic suspicion by doing things so well and legally that this is not a fact. As a matter of fact, there's some Christian churches in America, pastors, they're very famous. They have very dynamic speaking. They get a lot of money, and then they get later criticized for spending it just on big house for themselves, big cars, private airplanes, and things like that. It's very common. So the atheists, they're very suspicious. They're suspicious of the devotees or of any religious person. So therefore, we have to manage our religious or institutions legally and also according to the law of our sampradaya, because our sampradaya also follows high principles of high integrity, very high integrity. And that is the subject, integrity. What is the integrity of our mission? Here in Vrindavan, this beautiful building was given to the Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha under the care of the Vrinda Parivar, with Lakshmi from the Vrinda Parivar. But it was given to the Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha Seva by myself. I made that public declaration. This is for meetings. We don't charge anything for meetings. We have secretaries living here who are working for Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha. We have a desk outside, information about Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha. We make calls on behalf of Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha. We have the only bookstore with literature about the Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha. In other words, what I was projecting is fulfilled. And I hope it will always be fulfilled. I hope this will be the office of Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha even after all of us are dead. I hope that somebody's going to still defend those ideas. So in this way, reflecting on the duty of the Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha is that we have to communicate that spirit to those. One time, I took the Swagatam, or the portrait, to Srila Bhakti Vigyan Yati Maharaj. No, Bhakti Pragyan Yati Maharaj. He at that time was the president of the Chaitanya Math, President Acharya. He took it, the magazine in his hands. He looked at it. He saw all the ideas. Then he told me in my face, I don't believe that anybody could be that non-egotistic to do all this for the joint cause. There must be some private, secret motivation behind. he said that into my face, and I was feeling proud. He says, yes, you're right. Everybody works on Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha. It's not getting paid a penny for that. This is selfless work for the benefit of all, and for the dignity and the tradition of Bhakti, Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and Srila Jiva Goswami himself. If when we say, we always read in the books, always, devotional service should be done without ulterior motive, without a selfish purpose. Only then it is devotional service proper. We are preaching that all over, all the time. So then the question arises, well, is anybody doing it that way? Is anybody? My answer would be yes. In all missions, there's many devotees who are selflessly working for the goal. Maybe not all. Maybe there may be one or a few of them, they want to get married or whatever, no? Maybe there be also some cheaters, but the basic devotee who works for Krishna consciousness in any mission, he is inclined selflessly. And so were the devotees who helped me and others to make the Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha working. Now, I must admit that there was a motivation. There was a motivation on my side when I accepted to be secretary and when I requested Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, please come and join us, we will do the work. What was the motivation? I did not want to be isolated from the body of Gaudiya Vaishnavas. I did not want to be disconnected, neither me nor anybody who comes in contact with me. That there is no connection with a genuine Vaishnava institution. Because ISKCON was not providing that connection to me and to people in our mission. They were not providing at one point, and these are historical things. Bhakti Gaurav Narasingha Maharaj, Tripurari Maharaj, and myself, three of us, we approached the GBC in Mayapur and we told them, listen, we have some connection with Srila Sridhar Maharaj, we love Srila Sridhar Maharaj, but we also love Srila Prabhupada. So we suggest you, the GBC body, to accept our society as sister societies of yours. So that because then we would be an ISKCON sister society. And they refused. They said, no, we don't have any sister society. Either you're ISKCON in or out. So I did not want the people I preached to give the feeling that they're out, that they're rejected. And after I went to Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math, where we were received with the most open arms by Srila Bhakti Rakshak Maharaj, really, he received us like this, no questions asked. Srila Sridhar Maharaj never even asked me how many temples we have. At that time, we had 35 temples. He never asked. He only wanted to see everybody's happy in Krishna consciousness. Totally transcendental. So then, after Srila Bhakti Rakshak Maharaj left the world, the atmosphere in Chaitanya Saraswat Math changed so much that it was only accommodating the disciples of Govinda Maharaj. Others, they were not really welcome, except if they would stop initiating, something like that. The whole thing was not official, but it was hostile. So again, I had introduced Srila Govinda Maharaj in South America to our devotees, like a pure devotee who was chosen by Srila Bhakti Rakshak Maharaj and who was now leading the global family of those who love Srila Prabhupada and Srila Sridhar Maharaj. But no, it wasn't like that. He was in charge of his disciples, managing that temple very nicely. The Chaitanya Saraswat Math was spreading, they were growing. But we, others from the other lines, we were not fully welcome. So then I really understood, no. There must be a sense of belonging to our sampradaya. There must be a point of reference where I can say, I belong to the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan through the Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha, or anybody. You can call it another name, World Vaishnava Association, the name doesn't matter. But you have to have the right to belong. And the same problem I have, I see many people leave the Gaudiya Math for some reason. Then the question, where do you belong? Now in India, maybe there's so many Gaudiya Math, people don't even really know who you say, I'm initiated, that's enough. No? But in the factual, outside of India, starting a preaching project, you have to write it down. My name is this, Parampara is this is the name of our institution. It belongs to that institution which is registered in India, or at least there's a paper of authorization by somebody that you can start a new temple somewhere. That in some country, that is actually necessary. I give you one example. When we wanted to get registered in Chile as a Vaishnava society, in Chile at that time, there was a dictatorship of Pinochet, a very rough dictator. So we went to the official office, said we want to be registered. They said, no, in Chile, no Hare Krishna will be registered. Next year we went again. No. 8 or 10 years we went every year because we had temples in Chile. We were acting in Chile illegally. They knew that, but somehow they didn't bother us, but they didn't give us an official recognition. After 10 years, we brought a lawyer, says, why you reject us? Then they showed us a paper that we asked the European society, the EU, we asked the EU, what is the status of the Hare Krishna movement in the EU? And the EU answered, they're a group of young people, they're not very desirable, they are ISKCON, they're called ISKCON, and they're not, we tolerate them, but we don't think they're very good. That was the EU answers. Then the Chilean people said, if you're not welcome there, why should we welcome you here? So for the non-devotees, this official registration and naming has validity. This is not dream. I'm talking the concrete reality. So then we argued to the Chilean government, why you ask about us in Europe? We come from India. Our tradition is an Indian tradition. Europeans, they are Christians and they are not in favor. Why you ask? If you want to know about us, then you have to ask in India. The next year, we sent a letter. The next year, the Senate of India, of Chile, called us. And they said, here's your registration. We apologize for having not given you the registration previously. Because we see you are doing good work here in Chile. You are doing good work. And not only this, they gave us a right to give visas to our friendly people to come. Because if you're officially accepted in a country, you can have some status, you can make officially marriages, religious marriages, you can get visa for preaching, for preachers from outside, etc. Like ISKCON, they have that status in America. That's how you got to America, Janani was, because they have that relationship. So I was concerned for our devotees in our mission to have a status in any country they go. Not only me, but everybody coming after me. So in this sense, you could say, I had a motivation. to work for Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha. I did have that. And that motivation, like I told also many times, I'm not tired of telling, because of that motivation of the Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha, the Hare Krishna movement in Russia was saved from being prohibited. They already decided in Russia that any religious movement which has its origin in the United States of America is not allowed to propagate in Russia. So, just like Modi decided TikTok cannot operate in India. So in the same way, the Russian government, the Russian Orthodox Church, they said, those American religions, they're just invading us and giving wrong ideas to the Russian people. Prohibit them. So they decided yes. So then they had to decide which religion to prohibit and which not. And in the list, the Hare Krishnas were also to be prohibited because they know Prabhupada started ISKCON in New York, no? So they had that information that ISKCON started in New York. So then, when the hearing was there in the Duma had a special hearing set up for that. They asked Gabriele Jonan from Germany, who was an expert in the Senate for interreligious affairs. She was asked from Berlin to go to Moscow to give some evidences or some information. And she happened to be our friend. She used to come to our temple in Berlin. So when the Hare Krishna came and the Duma said, this is an American religion, that's we want to prohibit it, then Gabriel Jonan said, no. They are not American. That is an Indian religion. And they said, how is that? Then she put up on the screen our old website, Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha, World Vaishnava Association. That old, ugly website, which we still, I keep it on the web just for historical references. I kept it there. So she said, look, these are the founders. 17 organizations, they're all Hare Krishna. Some of them are in Russia, some not. Like that, she showed, this is not an American religion. Hare Krishna was taken off the list. Others, Mormons, Jehovah's Witness, prohibited in Russia. Cannot exist right now. So, Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha, and how many Russian devotees we have now? But the Russian devotees, they don't know that. Because in ISKCON, nobody propagates this type of thing. But anyhow, I've said it many times, maybe somebody heard it. And that is why we need a Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha. And we should not stop it. We should further expand it. Because our future devotees, they will need it. They will need to have more registrations, more societies, and they're all backed up by only one power. Paramatma, Guru Tattva, and specifically for us in the West, Srila Prabhupada. But this is our loving belief. We will not put Prabhupada as the founder, because the founder is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The founder is the Vedic tradition. Mahaprabhu is the Yuga avatar. So the reference on Prabhupada, the reference on Mahaprabhu was made by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the Chaitanya Upanishad. So even to explain the validity of our activities, we needed an official backing, and that backing comes from Srimad Bhagavatam, from Mahaprabhu being the Yuga avatar. And now we see the impact of the Mahamantra. So we see, yes, he is the Yuga avatar. That is the Mahamantra, is the process. So even for the very Hare Krishna movement, it was necessary to have a legitimization. Is that the right word? to make it legitimate. I'm not sure about that word. To have it officially accepted. And of course, in India, nobody doubts that. In India, every guru and his religious activities, it's judged by what they're doing. No, is because we know the Vedic tradition. Why was it that the Britishers could not destroy Sanatana Dharma? Because it was so widespread. It was in everybody's house. Everybody at least had a Kula Guru. Or everybody the grandfather was a Bhagavata speaker, or everybody had deities at their home. And so they just couldn't finish the spiritual conscience of India, but they damaged it to a larger degree. They damaged it by influence of Hollywood, by influence of computer algorithm, by music, by MTV. They have damaged a lot. But now all of India is in defense. Sanskritiya culture is on the rise. And I think that's very good. We may not be 100%. It mixes up with politics. But what to do? Dhirendra Shastri Ji comes here, a 30-year-old man, and thousands and thousands of people follow him and chanting Jai Sri Ram, Jai Sri Ram, Jai Sri Ram. What do we say? Jai Sri Ram. We speak together with them, Jai Sri Ram. We are in favor of Jai Sri Ram. We are in favor of Ayodhya temple. We are in favor that Mathura gets the Krishna temple established. And we are in favor that all those temples which were destroyed by Muslims, those were originally Hindu worship places, they should be returned to the Hinduism, because that was an invasion of our own home culture. They were coming from far away. They invaded our home culture and gave so much suffering, and that should be corrected now, because we have a totally Indian government. But that is a separate issue. But Sanatan culture, Sanskriti culture is on the rise. Anyway, I finish my words here. If Maharaj likes to add something, actually, I just burst out in this way because of some conversations we had. So, because this is Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha Vrindavan Seva think tank. So I shared these things. Now, if you have any questions or commentaries, go ahead. Raghunath, anybody wants to say something to further enhance the vision?
I'm speaking every day. Today I want Sanatan to speak because he has to learn also.
But just you could give a little feedback, what I said. Do you agree with all that, what I said?
Yes, of course, I agree.
Well,
of course.
If you agree, that is more than anything valid, because we are fighting together this struggle. And Jananivas is one of our top kirtaniyas here.
And I told you.
We have recognized that he is actually an empowered kirtaniya.
Exactly.
So we also ask him to make kirtaniya lessons here, have little kirtan, inviting people. So we are very happy about that. Then we found today a video. Did you find the video?
Yes.
Where Gopananda Bon Maharaj is putting his hand on the head of Raghunath and saying, "You are the trustee of Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha." You remember that? Yeah, we found the video. We are loading it up today on the on the YouTube channel of Vaishnava Association. And I don't know, I invite everybody. I don't even know why they're not coming from Vinda Kunja, because we have some good people there, but doesn't matter. We're going to fight and fight and fight and fight because it's one goal. Plus, this Department of Vrindavan Preservation, that aspect, it is so dear to Radharani, so dear that it will also be managed from here. So cleaning, and we are just starting. Today I brought one gentleman here. He said he wants to guarantee clean Gyangudri. Well, very good. He's a friend of us. So Gyangudri is going to be clean. And in this way, different people can adopt different parts of Vrindavan. Why should we get involved with all that? They should take this responsibility. So you also talk about that when people come. So Sanatana, you want to say anything?
He has to. No, sir.
By the wish of Padmanabha Maharaj.
Dandavad Devotees, Dandavad Gurudev, Dandavad Maharaj. I'm just want to say that one time Gurudeva told me that I need to write like everything when I'm in class. That's why sometimes it's very important for me to take notes, because at the end of the class and sometimes I read all of the notes and I keep something in my mind about, because also Gurudev and uh, others Maharaj like you and also another devotees say very important things. That's why for me was the very nice advice that Gurudeva gave me in the past to write everything, and also I remember uh, things about it. Because I like it when Gurudeva asked me something about, like, I don't know what happened in the class, and I can remember something because I read it, and that's it.
What opinion do you have about World Vaishnava Association?
Mm, I think
And
it's very,
your ideas to unifying the Vaishnavas, if you have any.
yeah, I think it's very important for all of the Vaishnavas, because also, the humans are fighting with each other, and if we have something to to give us the example of how to um, take care of each other, it's nice to hear something about what you said, Mara, about what Gurudeva said about experience of the devotees with other devotees. That's why I like this evening class, because also I like the Bhagavatam classes, but these classes are like mm, with more examples with the humans. Like, also Bhagavatam told us too many examples, but here we can hear um, like experience in Brindavan, in another countries, and that's very nice to hear it. That how can we take care for each other? Because also we have so many problems. That's why we need to take care of all of us. Of all of us, sorry. Jai Maharaj. Dandavad.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.